Good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes! Oh, fantastic. Oh.
Oh my god, I can't do this.
Oh, for God's sake, what an effort.
Oh no.
Juhi will be very disappointed. Oh, for God's sake. Right? In the next year, we'll have that done. Good morning, Enda. Sorry, what? Sorry. Go back out there for a second there.
This is like school.
What do we want in this class? Fake enthusiasm. Good morning, Enda.
Good morning.
Oh, gee, it's as good as we can get. Yes, it's a pathetic effort.
Do you have the control for the heating?
I do, yeah. Do you want it on?
They usually do, yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Is this like
I'm trying. I don't know
retarded?
how it works. No.
It doesn't have that range. Where's the loyalty?
Thanks.
Okay, great. So on that page that I gave you some discussion questions about your weekend. Okay, these ones here. Now, this is especially for Ying Hong. Everyone stand up. Okay, yes, oh, congratulations. Where is it? Out the window? Oh no, all right, okay, right. Mix with each other, okay? Now, don't just stay with the same partner all the time. Okay, mix. All right, off you go, quick.
Which one?
The discussion questions about your weekend. There, that one, yeah.
I wake up. At the weekend, I day off. I didn't get to the class. I So both days, Saturday and Sunday.
To do nothing.
Yeah, like they do last night.
Nothing.
Oh, just do it. What time is like? What is it? Saturday in the morning. So yeah. But only for the week. For the week, I can Yeah, in Dogme there's one. It's like you have to drink or something.
But you didn't go.
You didn't shoot.
He's the only man. I'm not shooting him.
What time is it?
He could leave.
Just because we're in the weekend.
Okay.
Describe the one
How can I say national panda?
Oh my god.
National panda. Like the bear. The bear. National panda. Is that what you do? Panda. Yes.
Yeah, only one point.
Oh.
Here in Carlos.
Class 3.
He's nearly extinct. Look at this. Endangered species.
People here eat this in right?
For them it's summer.
So we say, this we don't really.
I work with my
So saying a panda is like idiomatic in China. We wouldn't. So a panda is endangered in China.
In risk
The what?
of disappearing.
At risk.
At risk of disappearing.
Danger of disappearing.
Yeah.
So no, this means like the animal is nearly disappeared. So like a panda. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so an endangered species and a man in classroom.
And you don't have things like Italy food, like and then when they get in class,
It's like 2 weeks there. They're saying
and I said, no. I need week to start to run. I want to run, but I always say this tomorrow. The next week I'm going to start. The next week I'm going to start. And I always take my position the whole day. Like it's impossible.
last Monday.
have more space, no? Yeah, I think it's better than this. You put me nervous on the road.
When I'm very nervous, it's when I'm understand.
Maybe Saturday when I with my housemate. And also spend the night with my housemate.
Which,
The two Mexican girls, Ari and Valeria. One guy from Guatemala.
I just know one boy that
I work with you. And Simone. But this Saturday he worked in the campus.
okay.
For the last
For the and you? Which part that you It's difficult.
The first time
No, we don't have there's a place. And we went there, but they're small. Where no, I haven't seen the nurse twice. But
And you what's the word for explain when some animals have a lot of hair? So just a lot of hair? Hairy?
Whichever.
It's a famous animal. With a lot of hair.
Really hairy animals?
This.
Oh, I didn't. It's a cat. It's just from the Highlands and stuff. Oh, like savage. So wild is not the best thing. Also, it is
To be honest, I'm kind of
Crazy, crazy,
Also, no, the first one, but the second
We don't find it back to this in the mountains. Yeah, it's called a house
But not so I really like this. Like here.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
Wendy. Right, okay, don't worry about this. Okay, so when I was going around, I heard a few of these issues. Okay, Paula, pronounce that word for me. How do you usually pronounce it in English? Spontaneous. Spontaneous. So this A, don't say ah, so spontaneous. Does anyone know the noun? So this is the adjective. Does anyone know the noun? Oh, very good. Excellent. Well, very good. Some of you have been drinking on the weekend. Okay, so this is it. Spontaneity. Spontaneity. 3, 2, 1. Sorry, Charles, what do we want in this class?
fake enthusiasm.
Fake enthusiasm. So I'll do that again. Spontaneity. 3, 2, 1.
Spontaneity.
Oh, this is depressing. Okay. Okay, come back to that. Would you generally say to do anything? Oh, I did nothing. Okay, so a lot of you use the word anything too much. Okay, so you want to use nothing in this case. If you have a positive thing here, then this is going to be negative. If you said not do, okay, then you have the negative here, and then you would use anything. So anything generally will go with negatives and questions. Okay, so negative, positive, positive, negative. Okay, just be careful about that. So if you said, for example, I didn't go anywhere. I went nowhere. I don't know anybody. I know. No, I forgot to put the song. Nobody. Okay, you understand that? Okay. I don't like any of my teachers. I like, careful, none of my teachers, okay, be careful. So I'll give you more details in the text. This is just a type of cow, okay? So I don't know why Charles was looking this up, But the Highland cattle, this is plural, by the way. Cattle is another word for cows, not singular. Okay. So I'll give you an example of this. So it's one of those hairy cows that come from the Highlands of Scotland. Okay, so you might see that the Highlands are a beautiful place in Scotland. Okay, so it's a very hairy cow, and you go around Ireland, you can see them as well. Okay, the next one. This. What's this? An endangered species. Men in classroom 9. Okay. Does everyone understand the expression endangered? It means that soon they will be extinct. Okay, they're in danger. They're in danger. Okay, so an endangered species, an endangered animal. So as Ingrid was talking about, pandas in China or men in classroom 9. Okay, whichever you want. This word, wild, means what? Now, okay, just to clarify, if you go into a bookshop and you open the dictionary and the definition of elephant is elephant, bring that book back to the shop, okay? So, what's the definition of this? Wild. Carlotta, you had the definition?
Crazy in this case.
In this context, yeah, it means crazy.
Because
Okay.
in general, no. In general, wild is something.
Could you give me an example of a wild animal?
Wild animal,
Yes.
Lion or
Lion.
Zebra.
Yes, you could have a lion, a zebra. You could have tigers, or you could have Wendy on the weekend with Evandro. Exactly, yeah. A dangerous animal, wild. Okay, but in this context, yeah, it means crazy. So the wildest weekend, the craziest weekend. Now, just be careful. Eric, pronounce this.
It's just alive.
Say that for me.
Alive.
And say that.
Alive.
Okay, now do you hear? This is a common mistake for Koreans, for Japanese speakers, and sometimes Chinese speakers, it depends. Ingrid, pronounce that.
Alive.
Much better, okay? So, the thing that Harry is not doing is, where's the, oh yes. Okay, so how do you pronounce a L versus a R in English? What's the difference? Say L, 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 L. Where is your tongue?
At the top.
The top where? Okay, come over here just for a minute, okay? Come over here for a second. Sorry, 1 second now. Yes, yeah, that's better. Over this way. Okay, it's a bit hard to see. Okay, so can you see this clearly? So, break something. Okay, so this is supposed to be the top of the mouth. These two things here are the teeth. Okay, that's the top teeth, the bottom teeth. And this is the tongue. Okay, now there's a little bit of skin over the teeth. Okay, just there. That's called the alveolar ridge. Now, when an English speaker is pronouncing L, the tongue will be just a little bit back of that. It doesn't touch the teeth, it doesn't touch this, it's just a little bit back here. Feel that? Again. Yes, there's no reason for me to do that. It's just to make you look like idiots to the people passing. Okay? All right. Now, I want you just, when you're trying to learn pronunciation, you should become accustomed to different parts of the mouth. So if you go back to the back of your mouth, put your tongue up right at the back. Now move the tongue slowly forward towards the teeth. Do you feel something strange happen in the middle? Like that? Did you? Okay, if you should start to feel something a bit weird happen in the transition from here to the front. Do you feel it? Which one is hard, the back or the front? Which feels hard and which feels soft?
Hard in front. In front.
Yes, okay. At the front, it's called the hard palate, and at the back, it's called the soft palate or the velum. Okay, so when you're pronouncing sounds in English, you will have those terms here. These are the places where you produce the consonants. So bilabial, 2 lips, labiodental, lip and teeth, like this. Dental, only the teeth. Alveolar is touching this part. Post-alveolar, you notice no sounds really here, but these s, sh, z, ch, j, they are post-alveolar for a lot of people, not really for me. I put it in a slightly different place. Retroflex, that means your tongue is going back like that. Now, English native speakers from Ireland, the United States, most standard English-speaking countries don't do that, except which countries very often use a retroflex tongue when they're speaking English? This and that and these and those. Which country? India. India. This and that and these and those. And it's because in their language, languages, very often the T and the D, or the DH and the TH, are, the tone is retroflex, like that. So that's where you get the standard Indian accent. So a lot of students, they'll say to me, "Oh, Andrew, can you give us a native speaking accent?" So say after me, this and that. This and that and these and those. There you go, you're perfect. Hey, there you have a native speaking accent. Okay? Right? The next one then is palatal, so that's here, okay, the hard palate. Then you have the velar, which is back here, soft palate. Then you have uvular, which is back here. This is the uvula, back here. Pharyngeal, we don't have a single sound in English like that, to some extent. Glottal is oh, oh, oh. Oh, say that.
Oh.
Say football.
Football.
Okay, so that's the glottal stop here. That's down here. Okay? And the in English is also glottal. So say, how many of you smoke? Very good. You should be, the rest of you should be ashamed. When you're speaking English, you should be smoking 20 a day. Okay? You understand that? Okay? So in this sound here, the difficulty that Eri has with those two sounds, the difference is that the R in English does not touch anything. That's not the same as Spanish. For example, Spanish speakers will go R, 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 R. It's not French, because the French go like that. It's not R like that. There's no vibration. The tongue goes like this. R, R, L, R, L, R, L. Alive. Eri, say that.
Alive.
L. Now go. Move the tongue back. Don't touch the top. R, R. Again? No, you were right with one of the sounds. It's a bit hard to show you, but okay. How will I do this? I wish I had better facilities. Okay, give me a sec. Does anyone have? Okay, this will have to do. Okay, so you are the mouth. Okay, no, like this. Okay, up like this. This is the bottom of the mouth. These are the teeth at the bottom. Yes. Now, if you say l, the tongue, there's a little bit of space at the side. Okay, a little bit of space at the side. Now, when you go r, your tongue comes down, so the the bit here starts to touch the teeth. La 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 la, separation, separation. But this has come back down. This touches, this does not touch. Okay, so what is happening? This touches and this doesn't touch. This doesn't touch and this starts to touch. Do you understand what's happening here? Okay, like this. And this is dices. Okay, with it's a nightclub. That's where they. This woman here, she. Paula Nietzsche. That's it. Thank you very much, Charles. Okay, so again, Eri, say l. L. Okay, so your tongue should be touching here. L. Lift your tongue. Move your tongue back more. Move your tongue back more. More. Okay, keep going. Okay, now move your tongue forward. Again. Again. Perfect, perfect. Okay. Now, the next thing you have to do is move your tongue down just a bit. Just a tiny, tiny bit. It's about that much. R. Yes? No? Okay, do you notice how difficult it is? Okay, this is very, very, very common for Japanese speakers. So the biggest problem she is going to have is, unfortunately, this is her name. Okay? Now, you will see, because that is her name, that she is going to have difficulty pronouncing it the way an English speaker would. If you pronounce this like an English speaker, how would you pronounce it? No, you would say airy. Airy, airy. How would you pronounce it like a Spanish speaker?
Eri.
Again?
Eri.
Now, he's touching the tongue off the top. I did not. How would you pronounce it as a Portuguese speaker? Would you?
Yeah.
Say that. He.
No.
Well,
it's
this,
just one R.
it doesn't matter.
No, between two vowels.
Oh, yes, yes. Okay, let's say this then. Let's say like that. Okay, so you have to be careful again. How would you pronounce... Now, listen again. How would you pronounce this as a Chinese, Cantonese speaker? How would you pronounce that name? No. Yes, not you, Paula. Okay. How would you pronounce that? As a,
That's cool.
it's not called. Don't you dare. How do you pronounce like a Chinese speaker? How would you pronounce that? Again? Yeah, you see, the R quality is different. Okay, it's not wrong. It's just different. In fact, that letter, if you go around the world's languages, you will find very, very different pronunciations. So, for example, my name in English is Andrew. I don't touch the top. My name in Irish is Andrew, and I touch the top. So it's not identical, the R sound. Okay, so if you listen to her when she's pronouncing this, she will say alive, alive. So this is a problem for you that we will try fix. Okay, don't worry, I'll give you a few other sounds. Okay, go back and sit down before Carlotta falls asleep. Okay, energy there, Carlotta. Okay, I'll ask you a few of these questions. So, Daphne, what did you get up to at the weekend?
I got to 10 o'clock.
Oh, no. What does it mean if I say, what did you get up to? What does get up to mean in this case? What did you do? It's not when did you get up, okay? Or what time did you? Oh, that's another thing as well. A lot of you, when you hear what time, when you hear the word when, you think the date. Yeah? Well, very often it means what time. So I could ask you, when are we finished this class? When are we finished this class? 12:15. A lot of you want me to say, what time are we finished this class? It is perfectly acceptable to say when. So a lot of you would say Friday. But I don't really want you to say that. I want you to say, 12:15 or whatever. Okay, so be careful about that. So if I say, when do you get up in the morning? Charles, when do you get up in the morning?
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Well, how is it that now I know where Charles lives. Okay, I know where Charles lives. He lives about approximately 10 minutes, 15 minutes walk maximum, and he is nearly always late. Okay.
But it's because
You live-
Yeah, I live with a lot
Only-
of people.
Are they only women?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are just
He just likes women, Charles. He likes a class only with women, and he likes to live only with women. Very good, Charles. Very good. Okay, so when somebody asks you, what did you get up to, what they're asking is, what did you do? And very often, it might be something bad. Okay, maybe what did you get up to on the weekend? Okay, so for example, which person in this class might you ask a question? What did you get up to on the weekend? Which person in this class might have done something suspicious? Who? Yes, Wendy. Every single weekend down to Tullamore when Dr. Fernanda is not looking. Okay? So, what did you get up to? If you use it, that intonation is negative. But in general, it's just a normal, regular question. So, what did you get up to at the weekend?
On Friday I went to the pub at school.
Yes, and how many did you drink?
How many glass?
Just a non-alcoholic beer, wasn't it?
No.
Dear, oh dear, Daphne, dear, oh dear. Okay, so where? Yes, you should, but you didn't. Okay, and then on Saturday?
I went to a restaurant alone.
Alone?
Yeah.
Oh, that's terrible, terrible news, terrible news.
And walked around the city.
Which restaurant did you go to alone?
Brazilian.
Oh, or a Brazilian restaurant. A Brazilian restaurant. You didn't invite your friend from last week? You're blind. Was it blind or deaf? Was he blind or deaf? Deaf. He was deaf. You didn't invite him back. No. Okay. Right. Well, who knows? Better luck next week. Okay. Next one then. Ying Hong. If the weather had been terrible, what would you have done this weekend?
If the weather had been terrible, I would like.
I would have. Remember, you want to use what form with the past? Woulda.
I would stay at home.
I would have stayed at home. I would have stayed at home. Okay, very good. Now just get into the habit when it's talking about the past with those modals. Woulda. Would have stayed at home. Or would have. Next one then, Carlotta. Is there anything you wish you had done this weekend?
Maybe I wish add on something like go out with my friends because I didn't.
You stayed at home.
I didn't do anything.
Very good, very good. Okay, now again, wish is imaginary. So if you're talking about the past, it's very similar to conditionals. So it's like the third conditional. So you'd say, oh, I wish I had gone out. That's the same as the third conditional.
It's right.
Oh yes, yeah, it's perfect. Okay, so it's exactly the same grammar as the third conditional. If I had gone, so that's talking about the past. I wish I had gone. That's like a normal third conditional that we did last week. Next one then, Charles. Describe the wildest weekend you've ever had. Yes, now remember your mommy and daddy might be watching. Now, it must have been pretty wild because you can see Charles going like this. Anyone here have a what's the wildest weekend you've ever had, Wendy?
In normal life or?
Yeah, in your normal life. Yeah, not in Ireland. Back in Mexico.
One time when I started to with my boyfriend, the relationship.
Oh, yeah, remember, my baby nephew might be watching this. Okay, yes, yes.
Usually with my.
Oh, for goodness sake, Wendy. It's always pornographic.
With
Terrible.
my friends, on December we had a.
In December.
In December we had a dinner,
Mhm.
but on that weekend I lied my mom that I will go with my friends to the.
Lied to your mother.
Yes, and my boyfriend used to live in another city, not in my city, Mexico, and he came with me, and we spent the weekend in a village.
No. Wendy. Oh, it's a disgrace. Okay, apologize to your mommy now.
Apologize.
When I ask you to apologize to the other people in the class, what's the first sentence you usually use? Apologize?
Hardly.
No, not hard. You will say humbly.
Humbly, yeah.
Okay? Humbly apologize. Okay? I humbly apologize for my disgraceful behavior.
Yeah.
Okay? So this is related to humility. Okay? Humildad, or whatever you would call it. Okay? Next one then, Paul. What would you be doing now where it's still the weekend? What would you be doing now where it's still the weekend?
I'd be out with my friends.
Okay, you'd be out with your friends. The same question to you, Charles. What would you be doing where it's still the weekend? It's imaginary now, so you don't use will.
Yep, if there's weekend today, I will stay in Galway.
Okay, you will go to Galway.
Yeah.
Okay, stay means what? What does stay mean?
Why is this?
Yeah, don't move or remain in accommodation in Galway or whatever. Where it's still the weekend, I would go to Galway, for example. Okay, does anyone think that grammar looks strange? Does the grammar look strange? Why? Why does it look strange? Again?
Where is like?
Yes, there's no if.
Yeah.
Now last week at the start of, I think it was Monday, I gave you, or one of the days anyway, I gave you a lot of expressions that were conditional.
Yeah.
And one of them began with this. So what this means is, if it were still the weekend. This is a second conditional. So you do exactly the same over here and whatever. And you start with were. So you remove the if, that's gone, and then you invert. Okay, I'll give you another example. If I were young, I would party more, for example. Okay, if I were young, I would party more. But now I go to sleep at 6 o'clock every weekend. Okay? Now, how would you make that a conditional like this one? What would you do? Yes, okay? So you remove that and then you invert. So the other way of constructing this second conditional is, were I young, I would party more. Okay? That's an inversion. It's called conditional inversion. If you look back at the documents that I gave you last week, you will find a few examples of that. Okay? But I'll do it again for today. There are two other ways that you can do it as well. Okay, so actually I'll give you another conditional. If I said, if I had friends, if I had friends, I would be happy. But unfortunately, careful now, Charles. I know there's only one man here, but I'm not afraid to shoot you. Okay? So if I had friends, I would be happy. But unfortunately, I have no friends. Now, how do you construct another form of conditional out of that? What do? Take that out. And then? Yeah. Had I friends, blah blah blah. Had I friends, I would be happy, etc. Okay? Had I friends, I would be happy. Exactly the same as that. Now, that's called conditional inversion. Now, you have to be careful. In the second conditional, the only two words that you can invert are the verbs have and were. You cannot invert was. You can only invert that and that. You could not invert, for example, something like this. If I won the lottery, okay? If I won the lotto or whatever, I would blah blah blah, dot dot dot. You cannot say won I the lottery. That does not work. It only works with the verb have and the verb were. Nothing else. Nothing else. Okay? Everyone understand that?
Yeah.
So the most common forms that you're going to get are were I and had I. Okay? You can obviously hear were she and had she, etc. as well, but they're most commonly used with I. Okay? I give you, again, I don't want you learning huge amounts of, or doing huge amounts of exercises with that yet. Okay? I will try to put in the grammar that I gave you last week during the week, including in these questions, those kind of things. Next one then, Eri. Who did you hang out with on the weekend and what were they like? Who did you hang out with on the weekend? So number 9. What's that mean? Anyone? Who did you hang out with? Yeah, who did you spend time with? Okay, so who did you hang out with on the weekend and what were they like?
Yesterday? Yeah, so I hung out with some Japanese friends.
Japanese friends who speak fluent English?
No.
Oh no!
How do you speak English?
She can hardly speak English. Oh, what a disaster! What a disaster. Okay. Now, what's the past of hang out? No. Hung out. Okay. So it's hang, hung. Just be careful. There is another verb in English, hang, where the past and the past participle are hanged. Yes, but be careful. What's the difference between those verbs? No, one of them is this. Okay, so hang, like for example, in the past, the prisoners, like that, okay, execution. Which one? Yeah, this one, okay, this is the one where you're executed or whatever. And hang, hung is just suspend. Okay, so for example, when you wash your clothes in Ireland, for some strange reason, your parents, usually your mother, will say, oh, okay now, hang them, the clothes, on the line. Okay, hang them on the line. And I don't understand why we do that in Ireland, because it just means that the rain is going to go on it. And then you have to do it all over again. Okay? So, who did you hang out with? I hung out with my friends or whatever. Okay, my friend. The next one then, Dr. Fernanda. What kind of weekend plans will you have made before the end of the week?
Before
I'll have.
I will have.
I'll have
Planned or decided.
Yeah, decide what I'm gonna do.
Okay, yes, by the end of the week, I'll have decided what I want to do. Now that's the future perfect, and you very often use that for deadlines. So you'd say, oh, by the end of the week, and by the end of the week is the deadline, I will have planned, or I will have decided to go to Galway or whatever, okay? So you do something before that, okay? So remember, if you have a future perfect, the word perfect means what, Alicia? What does the word perfect mean in future perfect? Alicia, what does perfect mean? I will allow Wendy to give you some advice. What does the word perfect mean?
Connected time.
What's it mean?
Connected time.
Wendy, what is wrong with that?
What?
What is wrong?
Perfect.
What's wrong with what Alicia is doing here or not doing?
Maybe.
Sorry, Alicia, what does perfect mean again? Oh, she wasn't here. Right, what does perfect mean again? Connect two times, connect two times, okay? So when you see the word perfect, you must be connecting two times. There's another meaning of perfect. What's another way of saying perfect? Before. So if you have future perfect, it's before the future. Present perfect, before the present. Past perfect, before the past. So that means you have two times. The word before only works if you have two times. And in this case, I will have decided before a certain time. So you have two times in the future. Okay? By Friday, I will have chosen whatever, etc. Okay? All right, enough of that rubbish.
Okay.
Now, any questions?
No.
Sorry, I'll ask that question again. Any questions?
No.
Panda, any questions? No. Ying Hong?
No. Can you repeat the future perfect?
Yes, very good. Now you see what happened there again. So Carlotta was very, very shy and she didn't want to ask. No, but they don't understand it, so don't worry if you ask the question. Okay? Right, okay, so I'll go over this just a little. Okay? Now the future perfect is not commonly used. If you do use it, it's usually used for deadlines. Actually, yeah, well, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do one or two on the board and then I'll give you more examples over here. Okay, so can I take this off?
Yeah.
Okay. So the future perfect, again, you must have two times. And when you're learning any perfect tense, it's probably best to just think of it like this first, or at least it's useful. So I have two times. Okay? I'm not saying what two times I have, but I have two times. Perfect means before. So that's what you're doing. Okay? You're going to one time and you're looking back. Okay? That's basically what all perfect forms are doing. You go to one time and you look back to a second time. Now the future perfect is like this. Future. You go into the future and you look back. Where do you look back to? Oh, you could look back to the past. Could you look back anywhere else? Is there anywhere else where you could look back to?
Present.
Yeah, you could look back to the present. Or you could look back to where? Another future. So future one, future two, present, blah, 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 or past. And you don't know which one an English speaker is talking about unless you have context. So it could be back here, it could be back here. Okay, so as an example, approximately Now, where on that does she finish? Where on that graph does Ellie finish her course? Which one? Future 1, Future 2? Future 2, this one. Okay, so she'll finish in Future 2. Where does she start? She starts today, so this is the present. Okay, from the how did you know that? How did you know that? No, you know it because this is the first time you've ever met her. This is the context. This is the context. Now the rest of you cannot say that. You cannot say, I will have studied for 1 month by the time I finish. I don't know when you finish. So let's say, for example, Paula, when do you finish?
August, the end of
August. By the end of August. So this is the deadline, by the end of August, or the time limit, I should say. Now this is the thing that caused Tachi huge problems, but she was able to get it eventually. Okay, now could you tell me what you would put there, Paula?
almost 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in this class, in this class.
6 months.
6 months. Hey, we'll put 2 years in this class. Poor Easy 2 years in this class. Oh my God! You're not in advance yet. Okay. Paula will have studied for 6 months by the end of August. So you go to August. Well, where does she start? Where does she start? Yes, all the way back here. You're connecting not the future and the present or future. You're connecting to the past. Now, most of you will use that one. You just change the time here. Okay, so whenever your time finishes in the school, you would say that time here. Does everyone get that? So this is how you typically use the future perfect in English. However, a lot of you need probably a few more examples than that. So can you look here for a second again? Okay, and I'm going to ask ChatGPT to generate future perfect examples. 20. Now, when I do this, I typically want you to find a pattern. Now, you should be able to find a pattern when I do this, okay? There are some expressions that are typically used with the future perfect. So for people who've been in the class for a period of time, this should be fairly easy. Okay, can you give me 20 future perfect simple sentences for deadlines? Now, just looking at those examples, you don't need to see all of them. I'll give you all of them in the documents. Could you identify things that those sentences have in common? Okay, so the most obvious thing is the form is will have. You always construct future perfect. Well, I shouldn't say always. Sometimes you can say going to. I am going to have. Blah, blah, blah. But here we have will. I will have, all the way down. What's this? What is it? Is it ED? It's past participle, it's the third form. Okay, that's one thing. Okay, now can you notice anything else that they all have in common? Or things that many of them have in common? What words? Yes, very, very often you will see the word by. By. What other words do you very often say? Yes, you will give the dates or the times, the deadline, the actual point in time. So by Friday afternoon, the end of the week, tomorrow night, the 15th, etc. The deadline, they even say the deadline. What other words are common? Before. Okay, so you very often see before, 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 blah, blah, blah. When you see by, sometimes you see another few words. What other words would you very often see? By the time, very good. I don't know how you got that. Okay, so by the time, sometimes you, by the time, blah blah blah. It is very common to see the word by the time, and before, because you're trying to give a deadline. So the deadline is introduced by. I don't know why I did that. Okay, it looks like I'm petting a dog or something. Okay, so by or before or by the time, etc. Okay, we will have arranged everything by the time the event starts. So the event starts in the future, and you will have arranged everything before that point. Now there's something strange about the grammar in number 11. What's strange about the grammar in number 11? The same thing happens in number 8, number 6. They're the ones that are the most obvious. So 6, 8, and 11. Do you notice something strange about the grammar?
By the time the event starts?
Yes, so what's strange about that?
Is
Yes.
it because there's something before actually
No,
happens?
it's because of this.
Oh, it's present.
It's present. You probably say, why is that thing there in the present? Why is that in the present and why is that in the present? It's because after time expressions like that, or like that, or like that, you cannot use future forms in English typically. So you never really say in English, after I will go. You say, after I go. Go, very good. Excellent. You don't say, before I will go. You say, before I go. When I will go? That's the reason. Okay? That's the reason you do over here, starts, and not by the time the review will start. Because of by the time. By the time is a time expression, do not use future forms. Again, I don't expect any of you to learn grammar by trying to remember exactly what I said. What I would hope you do is just use those examples as exemplars for you to just copy. Okay, Alice, can you change the first sentence by changing one word? Change one word. Now, Eri, usually what happens in this class is when I ask a grammar question, the response is like this. Oh. So again, Alice, one word has to change, just one. Can anyone give Alice some assistance? You can change one word here if you want. Change that word.
Morning.
Morning. I will have submitted the report by Friday morning. Very good. Change that, Wendy. I will
Submitted the report by Saturday.
Saturday.
After
Very good. Excellent. Can you change that for me, please, Charles?
The first one?
yes.
I have I.
What are you doing? Okay. I will have submitted
the exercise.
Yes.
The exercise by Friday afternoon.
Very good. Excellent. Now you could change those three words. You could say, I will have submitted the exercise by Saturday morning. Okay? So just keep doing that. Just change few things to those sentences, and I guarantee you will get fairly good at the future perfect continuous. Okay, now with your partner, I want you to give me two examples. Just change those a little bit. Okay, so the pair review, and the review. You have to change 3 sentences. Okay, these three there. Just looking at those, you don't have to move anywhere, you don't need to write anything. All you have to do is speak. Now speak, Carlotta, speak, speak. Speak with your mouth, not with your pen.
The word before
Carlotta, what did you say? What do we have to do? Oh my goodness. Okay, so you have to change 3 of those sentences by changing the words just a little.
To organize the trip by the weekend. Or maybe
they will have finished
yes.
We will have presentation.
project by tomorrow morning.
I think it's tomorrow morning.
By tomorrow morning, yes.
Tomorrow morning.
Not the project. The exam before.
Number 8.
Before the
Yeah.
the exam.
You have 90 seconds.
I'm like trying to think about it.
You will pay the credit card
Okay. First one then. Paula, give me your sentence.
He will have paid the presents by tomorrow afternoon.
He will have paid the
Presents?
paid for the
Oh,
presents.
for the presents.
Yeah, he will have paid for the presents before tomorrow or whatever.
By
etc.
tomorrow afternoon.
By tomorrow afternoon. Okay, very good. Dr. Fernanda, give me another one.
We will have sent the project by the end of the month.
Yes, we will have sent the project by the end of the month. Very good. Ri, another one.
She will have pay the bill before the deadline.
Yes, she will have paid the bill before the deadline. Perfect, no problems. Okay, Carlotta.
We will have sent the email by the
20th.
20th.
Okay, we will have sent the email by the 20th. Next, Daphne.
She will have completed the exam before the end of the day.
Yeah, she will have completed the exam before the end of the day. Ingho.
They will have finished all the exercise by tomorrow morning.
Yes, just be careful. Exercises. Exercises. Very good. Charles.
I will have applied the project before the exams.
I will have uploaded. Yeah, I will have uploaded the exercises before whatever, etc. Wendy.
We will have sent the presentation by morning.
Yeah, by the morning. Okay, and Alicia, one more.
I will have studied English before the exam starts.
Well, I hope. Okay, I hope. Now, do you notice something about the verbs? Submitted, completed, finished, sent, paid, met, achieved, uploaded, replied, signed, arranged, checked, covered. Do you notice something about the meanings of those? Yeah, they're all verbs, but what's similar about all of them? The meanings.
Related with projects, presentations, or
They're related to completing something before a deadline. Could you give me a verb that you would find very hard to use in a sentence about deadlines? Could you give me a verb where you'd say, it'd be very weird to use that for a deadline? Jump. Do you think there's any situation where you would have jump for a deadline?
In a race or no?
Maybe a parachute jump that you have to do, so I don't know. This word. Cry. Would you have a deadline for crying? Oh, by the end of the day, I will have cried 5 times. It's possible. It's not impossible to use, but it sounds very weird because there's no real deadline. If I said, for example, this fart. What's fart mean? Fart means to expel gas from the ass. Now, is there going to be a deadline for you? There is. No, Carlotta was going, no. Okay, yeah, exactly. Okay, so there will be no deadline for farts. So it would be very strange for you to say, I will have farted by Friday afternoon. Okay? No, of course it's probably true, but it doesn't mean that it's an acceptable sentence. Okay? So the sentences generally will use verbs like starting, finishing, completing, submitting, sending, paid, where there's a deadline. So it limits the number of verbs that are really used with the future perfect. So if I ask ChatGPT, what kinds of verbs are typically used with it, you're going to see those kind of verbs. In fact, I will do that, okay? I'll ask and see if it's any good at this. What kinds of verbs think semantically? So semantically means about the meaning. What kinds of verbs are typically used in such contexts? I.e., that is, with the future perfect, simple for deadlines. And then hopefully it will give me verbs that have something to do with completion. Yes, completing and finalization verbs. Complete, finish, submit, finalize, wrap up, blah, blah, blah. Delivery and sending or communicating words. So send, submit, upload. Again, because you have to do this before a deadline. Achievement and progress goals. Achieve, reach, meet, accomplish. Again, you've succeeded before, blah, blah, blah. Preparing and administrative verbs. Booked, arranged, organized. You want to do this before a certain thing. Reviewing and analysis verbs. Review, check, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes creative verbs and production verbs like write, record, design, etc. Now, that limits you to those kind of verbs. You don't have to learn thousands and thousands of examples. You just need to learn those ones. They're the ones that are going to be used 99% of the time. 99% of the time. I promise this is what is used instead of the other things. Okay, right. The next thing that I want you to do very quickly before the break, can you look at the page again? And this is a review of last week. See those expressions there? Now I'm not going to go through what comes after those verbs. We have practiced it 2 or 3 times already. So in the first one, you have sort of a conditional. This is functional language for suggestions. If I were you, I'd choose blah, 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 whatever topic. Okay? So, Carlotta, you're working with Charles. Daphne, you're working with Paula. Ying Hong, you're working with Dr. Fernanda. And the 3 of you girls, you're working together. What topics would you like to choose for this week? And I would like you to try use those expressions. Okay? Try use those expressions. Okay? Off you go. Simple symbols. Again, if you can't think of anything, you can get ChatGPT to give you a list, and you say, "Oh yeah, maybe I'll go do it." And also, I should say, just as a suggestion, sometimes if you tell ChatGPT who you are and what you want your English for, it will give you better suggestions. Okay? Obviously, we didn't do everything last week, so if you want reading, for example, you can do that. Now, when you've got a list, share. Okay, so Paula, share with Daphne there what you're doing. So you can see.
I'm not in the topics. Thinking. Well.
Yes, but Charles did. He said, it might be worth doing this. Whatever you're talking about. It might be worth playing. Oh, are you talking about CVs and interviews? I think everyone who was in the class before has disappeared. So now, yes. Okay, now I want you to choose the topics before the break. So being home, you better start thinking quickly, or your break will be much later.
also with language, vocabulary for business,
Yes, and the cross-dressing.
lexis.
Finished? I know you're always finished before the break. Finished? Finished? Okay, right? Okay. Shh. So this group, can you give me your suggestions?
One option might be to learn customer service languages.
Language.
Language.
Okay,
sorry.
so language for customer service. In which context?
Barista and waitress.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. I want to practice this.
So a lot of you will get those jobs. So I suppose for a waitress or barista or whatever. Okay, very
Go
good.
to break and take orders. Offering help or making suggestions.
Yeah. Basically all the language for this. Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. Anything else?
No, we just get.
Okay, very good. This group.
Maybe some interviews and to write a CV.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
I think I'm not sure. Were you here when we did the CV or the interviews?
The interviews.
You were. Okay. Well,
It's better.
eventually we'll have to do it. Okay. So we'll do it again. Okay. Interviews and
We
CVs.
propose every Monday.
I'm not doing it every Monday. You will get sick of it after every Monday because you'll say, "I already have a job. Why am I doing it again?" Okay. Okay. So give me another one.
Also, some lexing vocabulary for business or teamwork.
Business or teamwork in business or what?
Business.
Okay. So
Job.
business.
Find a
next.
job. Yeah.
Now, again, it's a very big topic. Okay, it's a very big topic. So if you could give me more detail about that, it'd be a bit easier. What specific aspects of business? Do you mean accountancy? Do you mean finance? What do you mean?
Oh, finance.
Okay, because they're different topics.
Yeah, finance.
So you want me to teach you about the stock market?
Yes.
Okay, it's okay. We go with stocks and shares. Okay, the derivatives markets. Okay, stock markets or whatever. Okay, anything else?
Yes, it might be worth to study about the difference when we use, for example, I would like to be fluent, not fluent.
Okay, so actually a lot of you make mistakes with that.
Yeah,
So
those
adjectives
kind
versus adverbs.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, come back to that. Anything else?
And another, perhaps we should talk about a memorable event or trip or something like that.
Okay, in your life. Okay,
Yes,
so memorable.
that because sometimes when we speak in past, we don't say the verb in past.
Okay, so memorable moments in your lives. Okay. Maybe when you got a job,
Yeah.
okay, for example. Next, Dr. Fernanda and Ying Hong. We.
Which one? This one?
Okay, Ying Hong, which one?
Cultural differences.
Cultural differences.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else?
Oh, maybe we can. It might be worth if we try to explain symptoms again. Like, I'm so sorry, but
Okay, for those of you who don't know, Dr. Fernanda is actually a medical doctor. She is a GP, and a couple of weeks ago they had to explain their symptoms to Dr.
a
Fernanda.
long time ago.
And unfortunately, Dr.
Most of
Fernanda
them is that.
misdiagnosed everyone. They all died. They all died, exactly. Remember poor Petrini with her straight leg? Oh dear, it was awful, awful. Yes, anything else? No? Okay. Yes, Ying Hong.
Healthy while traveling.
Health, what? Well, that's very specific. Okay. Health while traveling.
Yeah.
Okay, right. So medical insurance when you're in Ireland, for example. Health when traveling. Okay, right. This group?
One option might be the psychology of happiness.
So just to clarify, you're asking me for the psychology of happiness. I could possibly do the psychology of misery and depression, but okay, we'll go with the psychology of happiness. Now, I think you are already very happy, considering you live with only women and your class is only women. I don't think your psychology of happiness needs any improvement. Okay, psychology of happiness, what else? Carlotta, anything? You don't need to choose anymore if that's enough.
Yeah.
No. Okay, great. Okay, don't worry. Okay, so I will try to produce material. One other thing, actually, I might do this as well. This was Dr. Fernanda's suggestion a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week as well. I might. Yeah, I might do that. I might do that. Okay, where you have to do a little. So, I know it's a bit stupid. You might think, oh, the teacher is being very lazy, where he just gives you 30 minutes to read whatever you want, but a lot of you don't read very much outside of the class, so I have to force you to do it. I might do it, and you just sit in silence and read whatever you want for 30 minutes. If there's something you don't know, you can ask me, or you can ask your friends or whatever, etc. But I do think it did work the last time. It was just 30 minutes of just reading whatever you like. It can be newspaper articles or whatever, etc. Okay, right. Hello, Jan. Yes, yes. Now, unfortunately, that's time for the break. Oh, terrible news again, terrible news. Take